Hi there, ho there. Good afternoon on this Thursday. Well, I'm actually a little bit surprised about the fact that there is 19 pages and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot redacted in this probable cause affidavit. So let's get right to it because it is. Hey, Angry Mimi, good to see you bowling with cotton balls nonstop, Mom. Shmina, I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay, let's start it out. All right. It reads as follows. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is duly appointed, qualified, and who is a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the county of, oh gosh, let me say this, Lita, State of Ohio. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal. Okay. He's qualified. He's allowed to write this report. He has written this report and he has written or not report, but probable cause affidavit. Exhibit A is his statement. Here we go. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Hereafter, the quote King Road residents to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. The MPD officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Zaina's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Zaina Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle, room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle's laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, and then it's the autopsy report provided by Spokane, which county medical examiner, which is, I think, what is redacted. The name is of the medical examiner is redacted, dated December 15th, 2022, to be caused by sharp forced injuries. Hey, Anaphylaxis. Good to see everybody. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves's, hereafter Goncalves' room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to, okay, wait a minute now. I followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee's, excuse me. All right, let me just keep reading. Okay. What nonstop, Mom? Anyway, that has to be are you talking about Spokane for the county medical examiner? It's not a typo, babe. I think probably what's most likely is that there's tons of counties with similar names. Okay, let's keep going. I later learned from A review of Officer Nunez's body camera. There was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack D. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th, 2022, that he and Goncalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bedroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom wall, no. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. Geez, Jen, learn to read. The bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogen's, hereafter referred to Mogen, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered the bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had a K-bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victim. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers and ISP detectives and FBI agents, as well as my review of residents, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle were seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12 to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. I'm having a very difficult time reading. Hey, Lycan. Goncalves and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogen can be seen on a video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, name redacted, reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogen at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residents were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. All right. As Bowling with Cotton Balls stated, brace yourselves. All right. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedroom, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, quote, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about somebody being in the home or in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a quote, "frozen shock phase." The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, review of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and a video of suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the path of travel. Okay, so let me say this before I forget it, because I've already read this before. Now I'm just reading it to you guys, which I don't understand why I'm flubbing it so bad. I happen to have 4 pairs of Vans in my closet, and tonight I will be taking a picture while we discuss this further and showing you just exactly, which obviously you can Google too, but still. All right, it's a very distinctive pattern. All right. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as, quote, a video canvas, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvas was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect vehicle or vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Ohio State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect 1 vehicle was not displaying a front license plate. Review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. The sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leaves via Walenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 King Road number 52 and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. 3-point turns aren't easy. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. At a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Pelosi River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Pelosi River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by 1 or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between those vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 26 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on Washington State University, WSU campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:45 a.m., November 13th, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington towards State Road 270. State Road 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow in Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., Christine, hey, good to see you, babe. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Pelosi River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270 at approximately 5:27 a.m. The white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. And then there's a picture. I'll put the picture. We're going to go more in depth about this tonight, and we'll use the pictures and all that. Depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel not to scale. And there's another picture and a legend. All right. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantra registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate. The vehicle registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, last camera location that picked up white Elantra. The same day, at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam and reports showed that on August 21st, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho by Corporal Duke. At that time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ8649, which was set to expire November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which is recorded via law enforcement body cam, Kohberger provided his phone number as blank blank 8458. Hereafter, the 8458 phone as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that 8458 phone number is issued by AT&T. On October 14, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ8649. On November 18th, according to Washington State Licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own expertise and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured December 13, 2022, on a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado, information provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightville, Pennsylvania, learned through ATLO search and locate tool database query. Based on the information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for the Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to, quote, understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime, end quote. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular services that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the Kings Road residence on November 13th between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. after determining that Kohberger was associated both to the 2015 white Elantra and the 8458 phone. Investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the phone 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the Kings Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Based on my training and based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime, or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of that crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23rd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical SLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examination prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Okay. So it just talks a little bit more about the agents. I shouldn't say guy because I don't know about the agent's qualifications. Okay. Believe me when I say he's qualified and probably will be called to testify at the trial, and probably his voir dire will be talked about, and the state will motion to make him recognized as an expert. Okay. All right. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:45 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington, here after the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consisted with the 8458 phone. Oh, shit. Hold on. Leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in that area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho. Between 4:50 and 5:26 a.m. Oh my God, why does it do that? Ugh. I'm sorry, you guys. I hit the side and it went all the way up real quick. Let me find the page where we're at. Here we go. Between 4:50 and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone. Oh my fuck. Did it again. Sorry. So rude. Stupid PDF. All right. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:20 a.m. The 848 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. And then there's a picture. We'll go through this later tonight. Investigators found that the 848 phone did connect to a cell tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believed that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the triple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. Okay. On December 23rd, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022 to current. Prospective location information and a pen register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in the case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the Kings Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense, or Oh, wait. And before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th, 2022. The location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23rd, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received historical records from the 8458 phone number from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June 2022. After consulting with CAST special agent, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of the occasions, on August 21st, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The 8548 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway I-95. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 845 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect one vehicle drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8458 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., oh my God. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel depicted below, not to scale. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 845 phone being the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. On December 27th, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from Kohberger family residence located out in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I'm requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/94, for burglary at 112 King Street Road in Moscow, Idaho, and for 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Zaina Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. I declare it under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law, and it's signed and dated 12/29/2022. Okay. Thanks. Welcome. Does that say Kang or Clang? Clang. I can read, I promise. Just not today, apparently. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so that is the 19-page probable cause affidavit. Now, what I want to say about the probable cause, first and foremost, I think that's very, very important to note, is that this is, I would not even close to everything that the state has again as evidence against Bryan Kohberger, nor in the future, because the case, they're still investigating. It's still ongoing. Now, I do find it interesting that in all the trash that they got from the residents, which, let me look at that date again. Yeah, on December 27th. Okay. I find it interesting that in the trash, thank you, Bowling with Cotton Balls. I find it interesting that in the trash that they collected, that there was not a DNA sample on anything of Bryan that matched directly to Bryan. So in this case, it matched his father. Okay. That's who the DNA source matched, was Bryan's father. Now, of course, now that they have arrested Bryan, and when they arrested him in Pennsylvania, they executed a search warrant for his actual body. And so that's when they collected DNA samples. So they're going to then go ahead and see if, and obviously it will be, they're going to match the two DNAs. Okay. Now, as far as the knife sheath being left there, there has been so much speculation because they've been hinting at this. What got him caught was DNA, right? And we were all kind of wondering what DNA it would be, where it would be located, like the source of the DNA, where it would be located, and if it could be explained away. Like, for example, if it were touch DNA, it could be explained away as he'd attended a party or been to that house for some reason or another, right? But this is much more difficult to explain away. In fact, now that we have the probable cause, which means if we have it, obviously, his attorney has it. And I'm very, very curious to know now what her strategy is going to be, because this changes things. That for also, this is the other thing I want to know if they're doing, because this, I would, and I bet you they are. Right. Nonstop. I just think it's interesting that Bryan was in the home and had been there for a minute, right? When that search warrant was executed, or when they, collected the trash, and that nothing in the trash had Bryan's DNA on it. Or maybe it did, and it just, there wasn't a sufficient amount to test. I don't know, but I just think it's interesting. It's like when you read through this probable cause affidavit, it feels like he did a lot of like right things and then a lot of stupid things, especially in light of the fact that he applied to work with the police in the essentially cellular data retrieval and analysis department, right? Like, hello, you took your whole cell phone to the, you took it, and you would have been better off, which thank God he got arrogant, but he would have been much better off either one, leaving the phone at home so it never pinged anywhere in any other location, or turning it off and leaving it off until he returned to the location. However, hang on, I got to get something to drink. My mouth is parched. Give me just 1 second. All right, sorry you guys. Hey, hippie sissy, good to see you. Okay, Clang, from that affidavit, I don't know that we can know. I still need to process everything that I just read. This would be the third time I've read it. I read it 2 times silently to myself, and then I just read it out loud for y'all. I mean, you were here, you know what happened. But I have to process it a little bit more before I would be confident in saying that the well, that's a good point, but it could also be that during a struggle the sheath was dropped, you know. It could be that too. Well, the yes, the sheath for the knife was found. Hey, well, hey, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it was found next to Maddie. But I just, I think it could. I think you could logically say either way and be right. That either it um, was dropped during a struggle, because the reason I think that they may have been last is because think about it. If you are going through a home unaliving people, right? You would want to start at the bottom and work your way to the top, right? To prevent anybody from escaping out the door and calling the cops, right? I mean, so it's very possible that he started on the second floor, and then because if he had unalived them first, certainly as he was exiting the home he would be checking himself, right, to see if he left anything, unless he left it intentionally, and realize, oh hell, where's the knife sheath, which I think he put it in his pocket, and during the struggle is when it came out. I don't even think he realized that he no longer had the sheath until it was until he had already left. See, I think the way that it happened is, um, I think he started on the second floor, went to the third floor, and that is when Dee saw him leave. That's what I think. I that to me, and this is the other thing. Okay, we are definitely. I'm all like he. Yes, bowling with cotton balls. He did, but I don't think it. I don't know. I need to process this more because I'm just like everywhere, and it isn't making a lot of sense because I'm also thinking about things that stand out to me that I want to go over more in depth tonight. But I am confused about Dylan. Did he not see Dylan? How could he have not seen her? And why didn't she call 911? The only thing that I can think of is maybe she didn't think she saw what she saw. You know what I mean? And maybe she thought that maybe she thought it was a dream. I mean, they had been partying the night before. Perhaps she was still a little intoxicated. I mean, the truth is, I mean, I'm not trying to. This is not something to brag about at all. But I can tell you guys, and anybody that's ever really drank, this has happened to them at least once. Where you go to bed drunk and you wake up and you're still a little bit drunk. That has happened. I it makes no sense to me either. I don't understand why she didn't. Um, okay, maybe she didn't uh, want him to hear her calling 911. Okay, let's go with that theory. Then I don't know. I don't. How do you wait hours and hours and hours and hours? And I mean, I understand waiting like 3 or 4 hours and maybe thinking, okay, now it's safe. I don't know. It's a lot to process. It really was a lot to process. I can't even, I don't have a rational explanation for that. I don't know. But I do think I kind of know why now they've not released the 911 call. Because isn't Dylan the one that called 911? One of them called 911, right? And there are multiple people, that much we know. And there are multiple people talking on that 911 call. And I'm curious if Dylan is either on the phone directly with the 911 operator or in the background and being heard describing the suspect. And perhaps that's why they did not release the 911 call because they didn't want the suspect to know that he was seen. You know what I mean? Well, this is the part that I can't get past bowling with cotton balls. With that, there's I'm gonna we're gonna talk about this way more in depth tonight because I there's several things that stood out to me in that probable cause affidavit, things that we've sort of been like talking about here and there on the various channels, but there's a couple of things that really stood out to me and I want to talk about them. But tonight, when I've had more time to process and then I can connect the dots in a cohesive way that makes sense, it doesn't sound like I'm just like blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's there's a whole lot that we're going to have to go over tonight. really there is, because I don't know. But as far as concept of time, I don't. So when I was reading the probable cause, and the detective is essentially relaying what Dylan told him, right? He lists times, and it's not clear from this document who is giving him the times. Is it Dylan saying at approximately this time? See, this is the thing. I don't know about you guys, but when I get woken up in the middle of the night, you know what the first thing I do is? I look at my phone to see what time it is. That is the first thing I do. Now, I don't know if she did that or not. So, oh, you think, okay. So I see what you're saying, Clay. You're saying that maybe she went went upstairs and saw her friends and passed out from the shock, and the other roommate is the one that called 911, and that's why there's the call for somebody who's unconscious. That makes sense. Bowling with cotton balls, yes. It's right in front of her door. And DoorDash also gives a timeline. But I'm talking about like when she is talking to the detectives about, she, what was it, 4 times she opened her door, or 3 times? And I want to know if those 3 times when she was woken up, did she look at her phone? And that's how she was able to give the times. I don't know. 3 times. Okay. That's what I thought. 3 times. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables. And again, I was talking about this with Shmita and Dr. B, that I, although this is more detailed than I thought it would be, um, I kind of figured that it was going to be sort of just the barest bones, the most basic information, just enough to secure an arrest warrant be issued. That's, that's what I sort of anticipated. I was pleasantly surprised at the wealth of information, and the fact that I'm not surprised to learn that Bryan watched that house, which, now looking back on it, I feel like I kind of now understand why they said that the house was targeted. So that kind of makes sense. But I will say, let me look at this DoorDash thing again. Hold on, because I'm kind of curious if Bryan and the DoorDash guy um, crossed paths. Okay, so he entered the area 4 times. The last time being approximately 4:04 a.m. All right, hold on. Let me see the DoorDash time. when she... All right, so DM doesn't actually give times. She just talks about the first time she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. So she would be hearing that what? Goncalves's, Maddie and Kaylee's rooms were both on the third floor, right? Oh, hold on a second. No. Okay, now I'm understanding it. Okay, hold on. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated that she was awoken approximately at 4 a.m. by what sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. So she only ever heard stuff first from Maddie and Kaylee's level, and then the second time she opened her door, it's because she thought there was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." And the third time, then the third time he walked past her. Yeah, that's what I guess you guys are right. He started at the top floor and worked his way down, which is weird. It's weird. I don't know. But I wanted to go live and read this with you guys. So tonight, I'm, well, yeah, hippie Sibsy, but here's the thing. When, maybe it's just me because this is how I would think. Okay. So, but I don't, I mean, I think logically, and murder is really not logical. It's very um, irrational. So, if the way I think of it would be if you have 3 floors, right? And nobody is on the first floor. You clear the first floor. It's like a cop. When the cops come in, they clear room by room, floor by floor. They start at the bottom and work to the top because if you start at the top, then if you start at the third floor, then everybody that's on the second and first floor, they have an opportunity to flee. It's much more difficult to flee from a third floor, right? Because certainly, yes, you could go, you could take the risk and jump out your window, right? You could do that, certainly. But most people wouldn't, I mean, unless there was a fire or something, right? Most people would try to use the stairs, which means that you would run into the person, right? They have no escape. So if you're on, if the unalivings are being committed on the second floor and the next set of victims is on the third floor, where are the next set of, you know what I mean? Going to run to? Yeah, I'm going to have to read it again later. That's what I went back to look at, Max. Thank you for reminding me. And I got stopped. All right, hold on. So Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. The law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information, which it's, I don't know, DoorDash is usually not approximate. It's usually right on the time. All right, now let me look and see when they found the Elantra. All right, hold on. Let me see this video. He was in the neighborhood starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. All right, let's see. The fourth time the suspect vehicle can be seen entering is approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. And it's then seen again at 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. What you sending me, Christine? Jay? Aw, thank you, Christine G. So this is what I think we should do. I think that we all need a moment to marinate on this. Okay? And this is, oh, okay. Thank you, babe. This is what I think we should do. I think we should all adjourn, think about this probable cause affidavit. Let's go through it tonight in a more, break it down into smaller sections, and I'll show you guys the pictures that are included. And that's what I think we should do. I think that we need to break this affidavit down into smaller sections. It's 19 pages, and it's all like, and the 8458 phone and the King Road residence, and the way that the sentences are structured. I understand why, but it makes it very difficult to read, which then makes it kind of hard for you to retain the information. So that's what I think we should do. How does 8 Eastern grab everybody? That way we can talk a long time, because I feel like we're going to need to talk a long time. And I think that's what we should do. Come back at 8 Eastern and break it all the way down. Yes. Okay. That's what we're going to do then. All right. It's a date. So make sure that you guys have, please, if you don't mind, hit the like. Make sure you're subscribed and set your notifications to all, so that way you'll get notified when I go live, but kind of be keeping an eye out, because I'm going to go live promptly at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. All right. All right. You guys have a great rest of your Thursday, and I'll see you guys back here tonight. All right. Bye.